Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and the rest of the idiots from The View. I still don't understand how this show is on television and who really watches The View, but they continue their streak of getting absolutely embarrassed and demolished and saying very, very ridiculous things, and then just, like I said, getting embarrassed because of these ridiculous things and claims that they're making. A couple of days ago, I posted a video on this situation here where Dr. Phil went on The View and just absolutely obliterated them and actually came with facts and logic, and once you do that, they just kind of shut down because they don't have any facts or logic to back up their points. But this tweet from Colin Rugg says, The View host stunned after Dr. Phil says CV lockdowns were pointless for children and the damage they caused are way worse than CV itself. When they shut it down, they stopped the mandated reporters from being able to see children that were being abused and, sexually molested, I can't say that word, and in fact send them home and abandon them to their abusers. They suffered and will suffer more from the mismanagement of CV than they will from the exposure of CV, and that's not an opinion, that's a fact. Glad someone is educating these clowns. And that's when Dr. Phil went on The View and just demolished Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, and the rest of them. But today, we have this clip here from Timcast where Tim Pool and the rest of the Timcast crew went in on Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and the rest of these idiots from The View, talking about this right here from the Post Millennial. It says, Timcast, if you are interested in watching people who are cognitively deficient opine on things for which they are not capable of understanding, look no further than The View. Let's check out this clip here from Tim Pool on Timcast, talking about these ridiculous comments that Whoopi Goldberg was saying about, if Joe Biden gets presidential immunity, he could just throw every Republican in jail. Let's check this out, man. It's just, once again, another embarrassment from The View.
This story from the Post Millennial. My friends, if you're interested in watching people who are cognitively deficient opine on things for which they are not capable of understanding, look no further than The View. Whoopi Goldberg says Biden could throw every Republican in jail if Trump wins immunity case. I do not understand why Whoopi Goldberg thinks there's a correlation between presidential immunity and literally every Republican. He literally could do that now. He just sends the DOJ to go after Republicans, and it could happen. I mean, if that were to happen,
which he's basically already doing, but we don't have to talk about that right now. He's just arrested somebody. The FBI just arrested somebody this morning from the Blaze, a Blaze TV reporter, for his involvement in January 6th. Now, I don't know if that's just to question him and maybe get some information on other people who were involved, or if that's to arrest him directly for being involved in J6. I don't know. But it's still, regardless, it's still insane that the FBI is out there just arresting people who were involved in that when they were the ones who incited it. It's like, it's just crazy. Anyway.
It would rip this country to shreds. But sure, Post Millennial reports. Actually, you know what? We'll play the video because, wow.
Well, the Supreme Court won't hear oral arguments until the end of April. Now, let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything. Yeah. You know what Joe Biden could do since he is president? What? Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail. I mean, he could. I mean, no. This is not a good thing.
Psychopaths clapping.
He can go. What this means is he could do anything.
Yeah. No, it literally doesn't. It means if he does, he would get impeached and convicted. And if it was serious enough, he could then be criminally charged. In fact, the argument is only as it pertains to the official duties. And no, arresting all Republicans would not be arguably official duties. He could argue that, but quite literally, if the Democrats want to get into a match of, we will go out with military force, I mean that figuratively, not literally, like highly weaponized individuals or heavily armed individuals to begin arresting every Republican, you are basically saying Joe Biden right now could declare civil war and win. Like, you realize if Joe Biden got a bunch of people to use the threat of lethal force against Republicans to arrest them, that would be the end of the United States. That would be the end of democracy.
To be fair, if we were to get into a civil war with somebody who, if it's a Democrat versus Republican civil war, I would choose to go against Joe Biden leading the other side of the civil war versus anybody else. So if we are going to go ahead and get the civil war thing going, can we just get it going now when Joe Biden is going to be the leader, the general of the other side, so we can just, take the easy W? Because, I mean, like I said, if I was going to have anybody to choose as the enemy, the leader of the enemy, it would probably be someone like Joe Biden, who just literally has no idea where he is at any point in time. But also, I talked about earlier how I don't know anybody how anybody watches The View and who those people are. You can see whenever Whoopi Goldberg mentioned that, you know, if Trump wins this immunity case, Biden could throw everybody in jail, every Republican in jail. There's people in the audience of The View who clapped at Whoopi Goldberg saying that. And even she had to say, no, guys, this isn't a good thing. Like, these psychopaths, these crazy people who watch The View are people who would clap at the sitting president just throwing every Republican in jail. It's insane, dude. I don't know if this country is repairable. I think it's irreparable. There's been irreparable damage done by shows like The View, by these brain rot, propaganda-ridden shows. It's just irreparable damage done to the country.
Lady.
Could dismiss everybody's debt.
Yeah.
You know, there's a whole bunch of great stuff that could happen, but let's really look at what this means.
Yeah. So they're basically kicking the can down the road, though. They're not taking up this case immediately.
Right.
So what's their motivation then? If we all know that they can't do what you just said because of the extreme power that a president would have, what is their motivation for not doing it right away?
Well, unfortunately, some people are saying the motivation is that there are certain conservative justices that have been appointed by Trump that want to help him. And because we know the end result is if this case is not resolved by the time of the election and he, God forbid, becomes the president of the United States.
God forbid. They talk about it like it's actual Emperor Palpatine becoming president, dude.
The Justice Department policy is that you cannot indict nor put on trial a sitting president, right? And so it's his get out of jail.
He could throw him in jail.
So the American people know that Trump is accused of these things, and he's the front runner anyway. You lose. These people are nuts.
They're like Hunger Games. Poo-poo. Like this rich woman on her TV show.
Why are the Supreme Court? And notice it's like, well, some people are saying, who? The guy in the alley who's like sitting there sputtering to himself, covering his own boogers? Yeah, sorry. That's not legitimate. Some people are saying the reason the Supreme Court is taking it up in 2 months is because of their schedule.
And that's way.
It is pretty interesting how Sonny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg and all of them on this show were talking about how they think the Supreme Court is rigged against them, like in favor of Trump, when the man is being indicted for simply being on the wrong side, you know, for simply being a Republican. It's interesting that their side, you know, The View and these lunatics over there, they think the entire country is rigged against them and that the Supreme Court system and the court system, the legal system in general is rigged against them. And then the other side thinks it's rigged against them. It's pretty interesting to think about the fact that they're saying that the Supreme Court only pushed it back to the hearings in April because they're trying to allow Trump to get into office before they ever get the chance to indict him so that he gets presidential immunity. Whereas the other side are kind of saying the opposite, where they think that the system is rigged against them. And personally, I have to agree with. I think the system is rigged against Trump, and they're weaponizing, the Department of Justice against him and against a lot of Republicans, as we're seeing lately. But that would be something that Whoopi Goldberg and you can literally hear the fans of The View, the people in the audience of The View, are clapping for. So they don't have anything. They don't have a problem with that. As long as the abuse of power is being used in favor of them, they're fine with it. In fact, they celebrate it. And you can hear by the applause whenever Whoopi Goldberg suggested that Joe Biden could just throw every Republican in jail if he wanted to. It's just wild, man. Let me know what you guys think about Tim Pool and the rest of the Timcast crew, responding to this insane Whoopi Goldberg clip on The View saying that Joe Biden could just throw every Republican in jail if he wanted to, if Trump wins the immunity case. Let me know what you're thinking about this whole situation. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you guys on the next one.